Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome. In this video I will walk you through the word game for Surah Al-Fatiha inshallah. So all the word games are the same. They always have the same 3 activities, just in case you watched the video for Surah Al-Nas. So Surah Al-Fatiha is very similar, except that it also includes, in addition to the surah, it also includes the ta'awud and the basmala. And of course it's a longer surah, so it does have way more words over here. Maybe one other difference is that, let me first start by reviewing the color codes over here. Remember that the color codes used for the different words are used for different parts of speech. Even though you don't really have to tell your students that an orange word is a verb, a blue is a noun or adjective, brown is the is basically el, the definite article, or the in English. Green represents short words like prepositions, and then you have red for pronouns. And then you sometimes have some yellow words. These are words that might appear in the Arabic translation but not the English, or the other way around. One main difference between Al-Fatiha and the other surahs is that you see the pronouns combined with other words, like verbs, for example. So if you take a look at this word, iyaka, it actually consists of 2 colors, the blue and the red. So basically, iyaka means only you. So as you can see, you is a pronoun, only is not a pronoun. So that's why you see these words in multiple colors over here. So let's get started then with the activity. As always, the first activity is to just have your student or your children read the surah in Arabic and notice the different parts of speech. So this is important because if you read أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم or بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, if you read this in a mushaf, you would see bism as just one word. Over here it's split into 2 simply because these are 2 parts of speech, or 2 words. Pretty much, or in English, right, when you translate them. Bismillah. Ar-Rahman, again, in Arabic it's split over here into 2 different parts of speech, because in English al will be the, then Rahman would be the merciful, basically. Ar-Rahim. Same thing in Ta'awudh, you have A'udhu Billahi, 2 parts of speech over here. Min Ash-Shaytan, 2 parts of speech. Ar-Rajim. Okay, so أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Have your student read it and notice the different parts of speech, and let them pay attention to the colors, even though they do not have to memorize that this is probably a verb, because this is a verb because it's in orange. But then the letter Aleph, if you notice, it's in red, which means there's a pronoun. They don't have to know the parts of speech, but they have to know that, okay, when I match these to the English words, I have to use colors to help me out. So this will be matched with a word that has part orange, part red, for example, right? This green word over here, min, will be matched with a green translation in English. So let's see. So basically I'm starting with the basmala over here, but I'm going to skip first to Surah Al-Fatiha itself. So then you have your student read it the same way. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Malik Yawmiddin Iyaka Na'budu wa Iyaka Nasta'een. So have them just read it slowly like this and pay attention to the colors. Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim Sirata Alladhina An'amta Alayhim Ghayri Al-Maghdubi Alayhim. Notice a word with 2 colors as well over here. Wala al-dallin. And of course we always say Ameen after Al-Fatiha. So that would be your first activity over here, right? The second one is focusing on the word meanings, right? So just try to connect or match every word with its translation, right? So A'udhu over here. So for this activity, you're going to be using the English words that you cut out, okay? So a'udhu, okay, look into the orange words. We have like we worship, we ask for help, we have guide us. Let's see, we have I seek refuge and you bestowed favor. So all of these are orange words that we have. All of them have basically a pronoun component. The thing is, before you go into this activity, maybe one thing I forgot to mention is that you need to go through the translation of it with your students. So, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim would be I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed devil. Okay? When they know that, now they can, use this to say, okay, A'udhu is I seek refuge. You seek refuge. That is basically a short word over here. You seek refuge in Allah, right? So you find the word Allah over here. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed devil. So min is from, al is always the, then shaitan. Probably most of them will know shaitan is devil. You might surprisingly come across some students who don't know the meaning of this, so it's time now to teach them this. Of course, it depends on their age. And then al, and then rajim, I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed devil, right? There we go. Ash-shaytan ar-rajim literally translates into the devil, the accursed. Again, just like with Surah An-Nas and just like in general with Arabic, if you want to describe a noun with an adjective, in English we say the accursed devil. The adjective comes before the noun. In Arabic, it's the opposite, the other way around. You say ash-shaytan, the devil, then you describe him being the accursed. And then the word the, or the definite article, is associated with both the noun and the adjective as well. So you can point out your students to these subtleties just to help them understand the ayahs. Remember, the whole purpose of going through this is to help the students connect with the surah or with these ayahs or with these verses when they say them in Arabic. Okay, now let's move on to Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. They should know that the translation of this is in the name of Allah, the merciful, the beneficent. So B, that would be in, and then ism. You see how in the Mus'haf it's written as Bism Ba Sin Mim without the alif. That's why I'm just writing the alif over here in yellow, simply because it's not written. But the word is actually ism, which means name. So in, then you get name, and then you have Allah, al, that's the, Rahman. Of course, there are many translations for Rahman ar-Rahim, merciful, beneficent, compassionate. So these are the translations used in the word game over here. The merciful and the beneficent. And the name of Allah, in name Allah. Basically, in Arabic, we don't have an of, right? That's also the same as in Surah An-Nas and all the other surahs. The merciful, the beneficent. Now that we are done with these, we can move on to the word-to-word activity for Surah Al-Fatiha. So basically, you're going to do the same thing. See? You're going to do the same thing with the ayahs of Surah Al-Fatiha, right? Okay, so we have over here, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The translation for this is all praise be to Allah, Lord of the world. So let's focus on the first part over here. Alhamdulillah. All praise is to Allah, right? So al over here, it actually means the, but I have one special the over here that has between quotations or between brackets the word all. Because when you say the praise is to Allah in Arabic, that literally means all praise. Just like when you say Allah is the merciful. So the merciful here means he is the all merciful. Okay? So when we say the praise, lillah means to Allah. what we actually mean is all praise be to Allah. Okay, and then we have Rabb al-Alameen. Rabb, they should remember this from Surah Al-Nas, that is Lord. And then we have Al-Alameen, then again, multiple translations over here. One of them is worlds. So Lord of the world is just, in Arabic, we say Rabb al-Alameen, which literally translates into Lord the worlds. There's no of in Arabic again, okay? Then we have Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. This one, they should remember it from basically the Basmala. So Ar-Rahman, the merciful, Ar-Rahim, the beneficent. Okay. Then we have Maliki Yawmiddin. So I'm putting it, like I'm putting a white space or a wide space between them over here, just to help them with focusing on each basically small phrase. So Maliki can be owner, especially if you read it as Malik, or it can be the master. Master of Yawm ad-Din, master of the day of judgment. So you basically have two nouns over here, day and judgment. So Yawm is day, and then El, and then Deen is judgment. So again, master of the day of judgment, right? In Arabic, we don't have of. So we just say master, day to judgment. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. Only you do we worship, and only you do we seek help from. So iyaka over here, this is a word that has both blue and red. So we only have one piece that has blue or red, and it's basically only you over here and another one there. Okay, so that's why the color coding can help them out a lot. Iyaka means only you. The ka is the you over here. Na'budu, we have a word over here that is red and orange. So we have we worship, right? Wa, they should also know it by now. And of course, if they were doing the previous games, right? Surah Al-Nas, Al-Falaq, etc. Wa, iyaka, only you. Nasta'in, only you do we ask for help. Okay, so only you we worship, and only you we ask for help. Okay, so that is the first part of Surah Al-Fatiha. Let's put these aside and let's move on to the next page. So as you can see, we don't have a lot of words left, half of them. These are the ones we discarded from the previous page. So now let's focus on this one. Okay, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. Ihdina, so that would be one of these two options that have both the orange and the red. So is it guide us or you bestowed favor? Obviously it's guide us. And now the sirat, path, sorry. I should get the over here the English matching the Arabic with the Arabic. And then mustaqim, that is straight. So ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, ihdina, guide us, as-sirat, the path, al-mustaqim, the straight. Again, how the nouns and adjectives are flipped in Arabic. You can always draw an analogy between Arabic and Spanish, right? Because in Spanish, it's the same thing. Basically, the noun and the adjective are kind of flipped as compared to English. Okay, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Again, the word صراط, path, the path of those that you have bestowed your favor upon. Okay, so there's only one red word in the translation, those. So الذين means those. أنعمت, again, only one word left with red and orange. You bestowed favor عليهم, onto them. غير المغضوب عليهم. غيري, so it should be one of these, not the ones that have basically acquired your anger. ولا الضالين, nor the ones who are astray. So these are the words that we have left over here. So غير, it's either not, other than, or just not. So غير is basically other than or not. Okay? المغضوب عليهم. That's the مغضوب عليهم. Basically ones who have earned Allah's anger. Okay? Or ones that Allah's anger is عليهم, is onto them. ولا الضالين. Wa is and, la is not, and then the is al, then ضالين, the ones who are astray or misguided. And of course, Ameen, of course you can take a time with every ayah in order to explain to your students, you know, like guide us to the straight path. Okay, what is the straight path, right? How do we go on this straight path? By following the Quran and Sunnah, right? The path of those you bestowed your favor onto. So we know that guidance from God is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a favor that is bestowed upon us. Not the path of those that Allah's anger is upon them. That's one category of people. And not the ones who are astray. That's another category of people. And obviously there's a difference between them. Like the ones that basically acquired Allah's anger, these ones are obviously doing horrible things, horrific things, crimes. You can tell right away, okay, these people, Allah is angry with them. What about the misguided ones, those who are astray? These are usually people who appear to be nice people, right? Very kind, but they just don't know the right path. They're misguided. So we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Fatiha to not make us among any of these groups. The really bad ones or the nice ones who are just lost and they don't know the right way. We don't want to be among any of these. We want to be from the ones that God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has bestowed his favor onto them and guided them to the straight path. And by this, you have reached the end of activity number 2, which focuses on the meaning of every single word. Now you're ready to move on to activity number 3, in which you're going to use the Arabic words over here. Okay, so for the third activity, we're focusing on understanding or translating ayahs, not single words. Why? Because if you just do word-to-word translation, as we have seen in activity number 2, the phrases don't make sense because the sentence structure in Arabic can be different from the sentence structure in English, right? So by focusing on understanding the ayahs or breaking down a whole ayah, now you'll be able to get even a better understanding of it. So the way this activity works is that it helps the student build the ayah one step at a time. So basically over here, so in each of these pages for activity number 3, you should work with the student top down like this. So basically you tell them, if I want to say the word name in Arabic, what would it be? Remember, that was mentioned in the ayah in the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Beneficent, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So which word of these is name? And of course, it's going to be a blue word over here, right? So it's basically ism, right? Okay, what if I want to say the name of Allah? So I know that the word name is ism, so I'll take it down here. Then of is in yellow, means that we say it in English, but it doesn't appear in the Arabic translation. So what is Allah in Arabic? Is basically Allah, right? So name of Allah is Ismullah. Okay, what if I want to say in the name of Allah? So again, in, and then the doesn't appear in Arabic. Name, I know name here, of, and then Allah. So name of Allah is Ismullah. If I want to say in the name of Allah, and of course they will remember, you have to say Bismillah. Right? Bismillah, in the name of Allah. So now you're done with this part. Let's keep it aside because of course this is the first half of Basmala. We need to finish the full Basmala over here. Okay. Okay, now let's move on to this page. Again, you have to work top down. Merciful. How do I say merciful in Arabic? Rahman. What if I want to say the merciful? So I just have to add al. So it will be al Rahman. Right? What if I want to say beneficent in Arabic? Well, we have to say Rahim. But if I want to say the beneficent, then I have to add al before it, and then it becomes Ar-Rahim. Okay, what if I want to say in the name of Allah, the merciful, the beneficent? In the name of Allah, we already worked on it in the previous example or previous page. So it's Bismillah, right? So bring that back. Ar-Rahman and then Ar-Rahim, the merciful, the beneficent. That can be a good chance to basically tell your students about the difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. There are many tafsirs for this. One of them is that Ar-Rahman is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful with everyone. But Ar-Rahim, he is merciful. This is basically a special mercy that he gives to the believers. Okay, so that is a nice thing maybe to convey to the students. Okay, actually here is a ta'awudh. Of course, you should do ta'awudh first. Not sure why I stapled these pages like that, but let's go through the example either way. Okay, again, Allah. Then if I want to say Allah in Arabic, I write like this. If I want to say I seek refuge, now we're talking about A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. So I seek refuge. This is a word that has red and orange. Okay, so focus on these words that have red and orange. It's one of these, and of course in ta'awudh, it's basically A'udhu. So we have A'udhu over here. I want to say I seek refuge in Allah. So I seek refuge is A'udhu. What is in? We have Allah over here. Of course, they can remember ta'awudh. A'udhu billah. Right? So I have to add the ba over here. It becomes A'udhu billah. Right? I seek refuge in Allah. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. I want to say the devil in Arabic. So the, that is el, and devil, that should be an easy word for them, shaitan. What about the accursed? Of course, this is basically the last word that is not covered yet from ta'awudh. So accursed would be al-rajim. Okay. If I want to say the accursed devil, how would I say something like this in Arabic? Well, I have to first start with the noun, which is devil, say ash-shaytan, and then describe that noun, ar-rajim. Okay, so the accursed devil in Arabic is ash-shaytan ar-rajim. If I want to say I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed devil, we already built I seek refuge in Allah in the previous page. A'udhu billah. Then from, of course, they know the ta'awudh very good. So a'udhu billahi min, and then the accursed devil, that would be ash-shaytan ar-rajim. A'udhu billahi min ash-shaytan ar-rajim. Some students, what they do is that they just don't work on the upper part and they just work on the last part of the page. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed devil, because they know the translation of ta'awudh, and then, okay, they just put it together. No, make sure that the students work from the top to the bottom. This way, they will get to understand the different phrases in each ayah. Okay, now let's move on to building the first ayah. Praise, that should be hamd. If I want to say the praise, or all praise, so that would be al-hamd. Al-hamd, the praise or all praise. Just like when we say Ar-Rahman in Arabic, it means the all merciful. Okay, al-hamd. If I want to say to Allah is just one word in Arabic, right? Lillah. If I want to say all praise is to Allah, so all praise, that is al-hamd. Then is, that's a verb. Remember, the English sentence must have a verb to be sound. The Arabic sentence does not need a verb. So we say all praise to Allah. Alhamdulillah. There's no is in Arabic. Okay. Now let's move on to the second part of the ayah. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil Alameen. Okay. Lord. That should be Rabb. Right? worlds. That should be Alameen. Lord of the worlds, that would be Rabb. Of, we don't need it in Arabic. The, that is Al. And then world is Alameen. Rabb al-Alameen means Lord of the worlds. Okay? All praise is to Allah, Lord of the worlds. So all praise is to Allah. That is Alhamdulillah. Then we have Lord of the world is Rabb al-Alameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Okay? And then you can also touch upon the different translations of Alameen and how some scholars say that it refers to all like living things, living creatures that worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Okay, now let's move on to the next page. Beneficent, that is Rahim, right? The beneficent, that will be Al-Rahim. Now merciful, that is Rahman. The merciful, Al-Rahman or Ar-Rahman over here when we put them together. When we say the beneficent, the merciful, okay, we would say Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim over here. Okay, now let's move on to the next ayah. I want to say day in Arabic. So what is day? It's Yawm. What is judgment? It's Deen. Day of judgment is basically Yawm al-Deen. Yawmuddin. Day of the judgment, basically. Okay? What about the word master? That is actually Malik. Then master of the day of judgment or day of the judgment, it would be Maliki Yawmuddin. Okay, now let's move on to the next ayah. We have lots of more verbs over here and pronouns, like pay attention to the colors. Only you, that's the only word that we have that has blue and red, which is Iyaka. So Iya is only, then the Ka is you, only you. We worship. So again, this is one of the words that has both red and orange. So na'budu, only you do we worship, right? Only you we worship. That is Iyaka na'budu. Okay, what about we ask for help? Again, another word that has orange and red. Some girls might actually confuse or mix na'budu and nasta'een, so pay attention for this. Ask for help is nasta'een, and then we worship is na'budu. Only you we ask for help, it would be Iyaka nasta'een. Right, so we can just put them together then. Only you do we worship, and only you do we ask for help. Okay, moving on to the next ayah. So now we have the word path. That is surat. Then straight is mustaqim. I want to say the path. I would say al-surat, or basically al-surat. Right, because it is lam shamsiyya over here. So as-surat. If I want to say the straight path, it would be as-surata, and now they can, of course, rely on their memory. Al-mustaqim. Okay, so again, pay attention to how in English it's just the, and then the adjective, straight, and then the noun, path. In Arabic, it's the, and then the noun, and then another the, and then the adjective. As-surat al-mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. They should also remember it from the ayah. So ihdina, that's guide us. We don't have to, and we just write as-surat al-mustaqim. So ihdina as-surat al-mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. Move on to you bestowed favor. That is actually the only word left that has orange and red at this point, an'amta. So this is, of course, the last ayah, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Okay, then on to them. Again, we only have one word with green and red together. That's عليهم. You bestowed favor, أنعمت, onto them, عليهم. Okay, so we have أنعمت عليهم, you bestowed favor onto them. Those, you bestowed favor onto them. So we're just missing the word those over here. That's the only red word we have, الذين أنعمت عليهم. Okay, so that is basically those you bestowed favor onto them. I'm just putting it here because I don't have enough space there. And then finally, path of those you bestowed favor onto them. So we're missing the word path over here, and that would be صراط. So صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Now let's move on to the second part of this ayah. Okay, the ones Allah's anger is onto them. Okay, that's a long one. So we have the over here, and Allah's anger is, and then onto them. We have green and red over here. Then we have alayhim. That's what's onto them. Okay, but what is the ones Allah's anger is onto them? So that is maghdub, comes from ghadab. Ghadab means anger, right? Al-maghdub alayhim. If you want to add not at the beginning, instead of saying the ones Allah's anger is onto them, you want to say not the ones Allah's anger is onto them. So you can say غير over here. It actually means not, and it also means other than. Okay? غير المغضوب عليهم. Then not, the astray. And then another word for not is la. And then the is el. Then astray or misguided, ضالين, those who don't know any better. Nice people, good people, they're just not on the right path. Okay? Now let's put them together. Not the ones Allah's anger is onto them. That's غير المغضوب عليهم. We already worked on that. And not the astray. That's and, that's wa, right? And then not the astray. We already worked on it over here. That is لا الضالين. So غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. So I hope you found that useful. Inshallah, you play it multiple times with your students until they master it and until they memorize all the words and understand all the ayahs as they read them, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.